So welcome everyone back to my channel. This is Keto Granny. If this is your first time here, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell. And during the video, if you like this video, make sure that you give me a thumbs up and share this video out to anybody else you know who does keto, who may want to learn some different recipes. What I'm doing now, I'm cutting out a parchment round for my spring form pan. And what I'm going to do is make a keto cheesecake. So I just finished cutting out my parchment round, and I just used regular parchment paper, and I got it from Dollar Tree. So this is my parchment round. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bottom of my spring form pan. And I'm making a small pie, so I'm using the small size spring form pan tonight. And I'm just going to take this, and this is going to fit right in the bottom of this. And to this is where I want to put my graham cracker crust, keto graham cracker crust on this. And I just want to make sure that it does not stick to the pan. So this is how I'm going to put my parchment round into my spring form pan. I'm going to go ahead and sit this off to the side because I don't need it right now. So sit that over there. I'm going to start by making my crust. And for my crust, I am going to use, let's move this, a cup and a half of almond flour. The type of almond flour that I'm using is the California almonds. A super fine blanched almond flour. So I'm going to go ahead and put a cup and a half of this in my container. So I'm going to add a cup. Let me put this up closer so you can see it. Let you see what I'm doing. See if I can get this up closer. To this, I'm adding a cup and a half of almond flour. And I'm just going to mash this down because I want to make sure that I get all of my lumps out of here. I don't have a sifter. If I had a sifter, I would use my sifter instead. So I just want to make sure that I get all the lumps out of here. Almond flour has a tendency to clump. So you just want to make sure that you get all of your clumps out, which is what I'm doing first. Okay, that looks good enough. All right, to my almond flour, I am going to go ahead and add in a 1/4 cup of sweetener. The sweetener that I am going to use is going to be some of the Swerve confectioners. I'm going to add in, like I said, a quarter cup of this. Okay, I can't find my 1/4 cup, so I'm going to use this 1/3 cup and just put a little less in there. Okay. So that's about a 1/4 cup of sweetener. Also, I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I just kind of put this to make sure about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And to this, I like to add pecans. And I didn't get to mash up my pecans, so just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and prepare these for myself. Let me see. So for my pecans, I'm going to go ahead and put my pecans in this and grind and mash them up. Chop these up really, really quick. And I'm going to chop up a 1/4 cup. That's what I'm going to be using in my recipe. Come add about a 1/4 cup pecans. Go ahead and chop these up really, really quick. I wish I would have had this done, but I didn't. So give me just a moment. Okay, so I have chopped up my pecans. I'm going to go ahead and take these out and add them into my mixture here. Let me see if I can get this fixed back a little bit better for you. Okay. Okay, I'm going to melt my butter. To this, I'm going to put in a little salt also in here. Just a tiny bit. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that this is mixed up really, really good. You can see how it looks in there. Okay. This I'm going to take and pour into my skillet and let this brown a little bit. Okay. And I'll be back after that. Now, while you are preparing this, you want to make sure that you are constantly stirring your almond flour mixture. You're just wanting to brown this just to give it a little bit more flavor. And then also, this is going to blend in the pecans taste to this really, really good into the almond flour. So you want to brown that and just make sure you just keep your almond flour moving, or otherwise it will burn, and you don't want to burn it. You don't want to have that burnt taste in your pie. After I finish this, after it browns like I want it to, I'm going to go ahead and add my butter to it. It's going to be anywhere from 6 tablespoons to at least 1/4 cup of butter. Then if I need a little bit more, add a little bit more, maybe a couple more tablespoons, because I'm going to go ahead and mash this into my spring form pan. I'm also going to save a little bit of this to go on top for decorating my pie. So just keep that moving. Like I said, keep stirring. Okay. Okay, so I'm still stirring my graham cracker. My almond crust is starting to look more like graham crackers now. But I added in a little bit of brown swerve to this. So I wanted to make sure I let you all know that you can add in a little bit of brown sugar swerve to this, and it gives it a great, great flavor also. So I did add in a little bit of that to it. And after this brown's really good, I'm going to show you how my crust looks. And then I'm going to set it to the side. Still working with my crust here. And I tell you, it smells so, so good as it is cooking. I also added in more pecans. So as you're making your crust, you can tell about how you want your crust to be. Just keep stirring it until you get it to the consistency that you want it and the coloring that you want. I like to have mine a really, really golden brown. Add a little bit more butter to this because I know I'm going to need some more. Let's take another spoonful here. Just going to add that to that and let it melt a little bit. Okay, that butter I'm sure is melted enough. Now I'm going to show you my crust, how it looks. And this is going to go inside my pie. And like I said, you want to make sure that you don't burn it. So here's my crust. And this is my keto almond crust, pie crust. And I make it like graham crackers. And this is how it looks when it's done. Let me see if I can get you a close-up look here. Can you see that? How the almond flour looks with everything in it. Okay. So this is my almond graham crust there. See if I can adjust the lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. Here is my spring pan. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and add this into here. Got a little bit of a mess there, but that's okay. And I got that little bit that's for the top of my pie. Okay. Okay, you can see how that looks in there. That's the crust. To the crust, I'm going to go ahead and add the butter. Okay, here's my butter, and I'm just going to pour that in there like that. Take this and mix this around in here really good. And I'm going to go ahead and press this down in here. Let me mix it up really good, and I'll be back. Okay, you see how I put that graham cracker crust in there? I just put it in there with my spoon. I'm going to take, it's easiest for me to just take, I can use this, just press it down in my pan going around. Press that in. I'm going to take my hands and press it in the rest of the way. Come on, take my hands and just press this down in the rest of the way because I want to make sure it's pressed in really good and firm. Press that down in there really good. And as I'm pressing it in, I want to make sure that I'm pressing it up against the sides also. It's going to act like a little seal. Okay, so there's my pie crust. And that's mashed down there really good. I'm going to go ahead and cook that for about 10 minutes in a 350-degree oven, and then I will be back. Okay, I'm waiting for the oven to heat up. I'm going to go ahead, start making my pie filling. And I'm going to be making 2 pies. I have to make one for my husband because he doesn't like the sweetener that's in this type of a pie. He says he tell the difference. So I'm going to see tonight if he can tell the difference. I'm making this one while he's gone. I'll see if he can tell the difference. Get me some Diet Pepsi. It's hot. I gotta have something to drink. So I'm letting my oven heat up, and I'm going to go ahead and stick the pie crust in. And we're going to go ahead and make the filling here really, really quick. So I got one cream cheese. I'm going to add another brick of cream cheese. Calls for 2. We got fumble hands today. So I'll put 2 in there. Normally I make my pie smaller. I'm going to go ahead and just make a whole big cheesecake tonight. Okay, so I got the 2 bricks of, I'll scrape. Make sure I get everything. Okay, so there's my cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and add some sour cream to this. Okay, so I can't find my 1/4 cup, but I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of sour cream to this. And I'm just using the 1/3 cup measuring. So I'm adding about a 1/4 cup of sour cream. It's got a little butter on there, but that's not going to hurt it. That's a good fat also. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of heavy whipping cream to this. Probably it's going to be about a 1/4 cup also for the heavy whipping cream. Go ahead and pour that in. Okay. Okay. Next, I'm going to get ready to beat my eggs in. I'm going to beat those in one at a time. Okay, I'm going to add a 1.5 cups of sweetener to this, and I'm going to mix this with some allulose. I'm going to add half a cup of my allulose to this. And another half of my swerve. Another half of the swerve. This is the swerve confectioners. Put that in there. So I'm going to add about a half a cup of my monkfruit erythritol, you all. I'm mixing this all up because I'm making my sugar stretch. Okay, I'm going to pour that in. Okay. I'm going to start mixing this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and transfer this over here. I believe it's going to be easier for me to mix like that. So I have the mix in here. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. Let me get this situated. Okay, my oven's ready. I'm going to go ahead and pop in the crust. and let that cook about 5 minutes. This is the crust that's going into the oven now for about 5 minutes. Put my timer on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start this slow. Okay, I'm going to cut this down so that you can hear me talk. To this, I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm just going to pour it right in there. Let's see, I'm going to start adding in my eggs, 1 egg at a time. So I'm going to get ready to start doing that. And I'm going to be using 4 eggs. And it's best to have your eggs at room temperature, so I'm going to add these in 1 at a time. And I like to wipe down my sides just to make sure that everything is blended really well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in another egg now. Okay, so I believe that I have left that mixed enough. Let me go ahead and stop it and check it. Well, that tastes good, you all. I don't think my husband's going to be able to tell the difference, but I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Look how creamy that cheesecake filling looks. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of pecans to this also. Well, what I'm going to do is wait and add this and a few pecans at the end. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and add some in now and see what happens to this pie. If it gives it a different taste. Because I am going to add some other things to this also. Okay, so I'm going to just pour these in. Okay, something a little extra there. Okay, I'm going to mix this in, and then I'm going to pour it into this cool pie shell. I'm going to let it cool just a bit more. You can see how delicious that looks. I'm going to mix this up in here. That's my keto pecan cream cheese filling. Tastes great. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour this into my filling here, this pie filling, and pour it evenly. You can see how good that looks. Scrape my sides, make sure I get everything out. Okay, you see how good and delicious that looks? You want to make sure that it covers everything there at the top. Okay. After you put this in, you just want to shake it a little bit to make sure that it fits down in all the crooks and nannies there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. I'm going to bake it at, let me make sure. I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for, let's say I'm going to put it in some water. So I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes, and then I'll check it. Okay, so here is the cheesecake, and you see that it's ready to go in the oven. What I'm going to do, I don't have a roasting pan, but I'm going to use a deep pan that I have and put this in there, and I'll show you. This is the pan I'm going to use. So it's a deep pan. I'm going to sit this in here, and then I'm going to add water to this. Okay, so you see I've got that in there, and then I'm just going to add some water around that and let it bake, I said, for about 60 to 70 minutes, and then I will check it, and that's when I'll come back. Okay, here's my cheesecake, and like I said, I'm going to cook it on 350 for not quite an hour. So for about 45 minutes, which you can see I have my water around it. And I did get a little bit of water in there that I had to take out. So I hope that that doesn't mess it up or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and set this for, let's just go ahead and set it for 60 minutes to start before I do my next check. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven now. Be careful. There we go. So my husband wants a different cheesecake. He wants a strawberry cheesecake. So I'm going to make him a no-bake cheesecake and put that in the refrigerator so that he can have that. Okay. It's the next morning, and I'm getting ready to go ahead and finish making my cheesecake. I put it in the refrigerator last night so that it would be ready for me to finish today. I'm going to go ahead and show you the ingredients that I'm going to use. Now, I started off making a pumpkin keto cheesecake, and I changed my mind and decided that I'd rather have a keto pecan praline cheesecake. So that is what I'm making and I'm sharing with you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the ingredients that I'm using today. Now I don't have the half pecan, but I'm using the chopped pecans. And these I'm going to go ahead and roast. I have the pan here. I got my oven set on 300 and I'm going to roast these for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and roast all of these because I'm going to go ahead and make some caramel keto pecans after this also. So all I'm going to do is just take my pan. Let me go ahead and set this up so we can go ahead and get started making our sauce and finishing off this delicious, delicious cheesecake. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my pecans on here. And just spread them out. Like I said, these are the chopped pecans. Go ahead and spread these out on here. And to this, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and some butter. So let me go ahead and get those things ready. Okay, to my pecans, I'm going to be adding some salt. Just go ahead and add the salt to that like that. And I'm just using the regular sea salt, natural sea salt is what I'm adding to that. Go ahead and mix that up to get the salt through there. Now roasted pecans taste the best. So that's why I'm roasting my pecans. And also I want to make some roasted keto caramel pecans. So I'm just taking the time to do all of this at one time. And I will use those for like a snack for myself, a keto snack. I love pecans, so I love them like that also. To this, I'm going to add some butter. And depending on how many pecans you're using, that's how you're going to determine how much butter you're going to put in there. Okay, go ahead and mix this up really good. And I'm going to heat these for about 10 minutes. Then I'll take it out and turn them and put it back in for another 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how they're cooking. And you just make sure you got the pecans covered good. Once you do, just go ahead and stick them in the oven. And flatten those out. Racing some on the floor. Okay, if you like the raw pecan, you can use the raw pecan. I just happen to like a roasted pecan, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven. Set it for 10 minutes. And let that cook. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and start my sauce. Let me get you over this way a little bit better. Okay. So, for my sauce. My pan's already heated up. I'm going to start with a stick of butter. Go ahead and put this in my saucepan and let it melt. Towel by. Close by. Close by. Okay, I'm going to let this butter melt really good. Get you up closer. Okay, you can see that butter is melting. You don't want it to burn, so let me cut it down a little bit. Go ahead and melt this. And I stir my butter as I'm melting it because you don't want it to start turning colors early. You still want to have to add your sugar, let this melt down. Now, I've made caramel sauce before. I don't remember quite where I got the recipe, but I went online and I went online on YouTube and put in keto caramel sauce so I could review it because it's been a while since I made some. And the recipe I'm going to post down below here is from CJ's Kitchen that has a good caramel sauce. Okay, to this, I'm going to add a half cup of brown sugar. And I'm using the monkfruit sweetener, the Keto. Half a cup. As I'm pouring this in, I want to just go ahead and mix it up because I want to make sure it doesn't clump. Keep stirring this as I'm adding it in also. Okay. Mix this up really good. Keep stirring it. Okay. Make sure that you can see it really good. See that as I'm stirring that, making sure that it's incorporating together really good. As I'm pouring it in. Make sure you're on a low heat because you don't want it to go too fast. You want to make sure it put the rest of that in there. And it mixes together really good. See that, how it's incorporating? So just keep going till it incorporates together really, really well. I'm going to keep mixing this. Okay, let's keep mixing till the more that you mix this, the more it's going to turn into a thicker. Okay, so just keep going. Now next to this, I'm going to go ahead and add in my heavy whipping cream. And I'm adding in a half a cup of heavy whipping cream to this. You want to add it in really, really slow also and mix it as you're going. My cream is so thick. I had noticed it was getting thick. Okay. That. And I have my heavy whipping cream, about a half a cup. I'm going to add this in a little bit at a time. Mix it in. I want to make sure it mixes in really good. You see that? Okay. I'm going to keep mixing this. till I get it all mixed in really well. Make sure that it incorporates together. And you want to keep doing that, especially until you get it a golden brown. Putting in the brown sugar helps this process also. I'm going to go ahead and add in my vanilla extract here. And about 1 to 2 teaspoons. You want for that. And a dash of salt. I'm going to go ahead and add that now also. Just a dash of salt. Okay, go ahead and continue to mix this up to make sure that everything blends and incorporates really well in here. You want to make sure that your whipping cream doesn't clump. That's why you want to stir as you're going along. See how it's coming together? So just keep stirring. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and then I'll come back. Okay, so the pecans are ready to be turned. It smells so good. Let me go ahead and turn those. So I'm doing several things at the same time. That cook. Okay. Go ahead and turn my pecans. Some is going to give them a dish rag, but that's what they are, dish rags. I have a lot of them. I have a bag that I just put my old rags in or towels and snag them into pieces. Okay. Oh, they're so good. For about anywhere from 8 to 10 more minutes. For the pecans. Back over here. Okay, see how good that's cooking. I'm gonna keep mixing up this here caramel sauce until it gets as thick as I want it to. You can see that it's thickening up. Now after I make my caramel sauce and get the pecans ready, then I'll go ahead and pull out the cheesecake and we'll finish that. And you can taste your caramel sauce. See how it's coming on. I'm going to cut that up just a little bit higher. I tell you, the smell in the kitchen right now is just totally and completely divine. I mean, it is divine. It smells like the holidays. Nuts roasting on an open fire. That's what it smells like. It smells so good. And then I got the caramel sauce here. It's coming along, thickening up. And I want the color to be a little bit darker, so I'm cooking it a little bit longer, and I turned my fire up just a little bit, but I want to keep stirring because I want to make sure that it does not burn. I just got these out of the oven. I'm going to let these sit here and cool off. Smells just divine. It smells so good. These roasted pecans and this caramel. And then it's cooked just a little bit longer. Then I'm going to pull it off and let it sit and cool down. As it cools down, it should thicken a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to come back when I get ready to put this on the cheesecake. Okay, here's my cheesecake. I just took it out the oven. Came in here early and thought I had took it out and I hadn't. So this is it. And it's still a little jiggly on top. As you can see, so I'm going to let this cool and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Then we're going to cut it. But I have some other things I want to do to this, which I will finish that off tomorrow. Okay, my pie has cooled, so I'm going to go ahead and run the knife around the edge, loosen this up, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. In the morning, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off, and we will continue from there. Okay, this is the cheesecake out of the spring pan. You guys, it tastes so delicious and so bomb. I'm going to finish this off tomorrow. This is the finished keto caramel pecan praline pie. You can see how delicious it looks, and as soon as I put this in the refrigerator, I'm going to let it sit in there for a couple of hours until we come back. And when we come back, we're going to do our taste test. Me and Keto Kenny. But here's that beautiful, beautiful pie. I want to make sure that I show it to you again. Look how good it looks. Get that up there. You got to make sure that you add this to your holiday. Okay. I hope that you enjoy this dish. If you try this dish, make sure that you comment below.